Monterrey, Mexico. October 2020. For days, the entire world had been talking about her, the woman from Torenza. The viral video, unexplained by anyone, whispered the secrets of the universe. A woman in her 60s had appeared at JFK Airport in New York with a passport from a non-existent country and vanished without a trace, like a shadow. 200 million views, millions of vague theories, but no one had considered the most obvious. While the Hernández family ate dinner, 4-year-old Diego watched the video for the 5th time on his father's phone. His father, Mateo, was obsessed with the case. It was fascinating. How is it possible? Real? Artificial intelligence? Diego stops eating. He stares at the screen with unusual intensity. He's talking to the female airport attendants. He looks confused, frightened, but not like someone lying, like a lost soul who doesn't really understand what's happening. "Dad," Diego says softly, "he doesn't know." Mateo laughs. He doesn't know what's happening. He's the champion. He's lost track of time. He thinks he's at home, in his own year. Diego points to the screen. He looks into his eyes. He searches for something that is no longer there. Silence falls on the table. His mother, Carmen, puts down her fork. "What do you mean, my love?" He thinks it is 1346. She doesn't realize that many, many years have passed. That's why she's confused. That's why she doesn't understand what happened at the airport. Diego speaks with a clarity that shouldn't be there. It's like waking up thinking it's morning, but it's already night. Only for him, many, many years. Mateo feels a chill. "How do you know that, Diego?" "Because she told me. Last night. She came into my room and asked where the cathedral was. She said she had to get there before curfew. I told her curfew was over, and she got very upset." Diego looked down. "I didn't tell her her city no longer exists. I didn't want to make her cry anymore." Carmen took her son's hand. "Diego, it was just a dream." "No, Mother, she left this." He opened his small hand. Inside was an ancient, faded silver ring with a Latin inscription that no one in the house could read, but later analysis would confirm that the ring had been made in Barcelona in 1345, the year before Torenza disappeared forever. The next morning, Mateo took it to an antiques dealer who specializes in medieval artifacts. Mr. Robles, a 70-year-old with decades of experience, examined it under a magnifying glass. His hands were visibly trembling. "Where did you find this?" His voice was almost a purr. "My son says someone gave it to him." Mr. Robles steadied his gaze on the ring. "This is 14th century silver, Catalan casting techniques. And this inscription." He pulled out an antique book and compared the symbols. "This is the seal of the merchants of Torenza, a trading district of Barcelona that disappeared in 1348. Torenza, like the Torenza in the video." "That's right. Only the name has been romanized on social media, but it's the same place." Mr. Robles looked directly at Mateo. "This ring is almost 700 years old and in perfect condition, as if it had been made yesterday." That afternoon, Carmen finds Diego talking to himself in his room. She goes to the half-open door. "Why can't I see my family?" Diego's voice sounds sad, as if he's repeating a question someone else has asked. Silence. "Why aren't they here anymore?" "It's been a long time." Diego sighs. "Yes, I know it's sad. My mother told me that sometimes people leave and don't come back." Carmen pushes the door open. "Who are you talking to, Diego?" Her son looked at her with eyes full of tears. "Vera." "Mom, the woman in the video is here." "She's not actually here. She's kind of in the middle. She says she can see me, but everything else is blurry." "What else does she say?" "She says she's scared, that the streets don't look right, that people are dressed strangely, that cars are moving on their own." Diego wiped his tears. "She thinks she's sick, that she has a fever. That's why everything seems strange." He doesn't realize the world has changed. Carmen knelt in front of her son. How can she talk to you? Because children can see both things, the present and the past, stuck between them like a toy fallen behind a piece of furniture. Neither here nor there. Just lost. Are there others like him? Diego nods slowly. Yes, he says. Sometimes he sees shadows, sometimes people missing, but they can't speak to each other. Each one is stuck in their own time loop. Carmen hugs her son, wondering for the first time if what's happening is a figment of her imagination or something much more real, much more terrifying. The Torenza case is getting deeper. A second video, recorded by an airport passenger on a cell phone, has surfaced. In it, the woman speaks clearly. Where are the walls? Why are there so many torches in the sky? What are these metal monsters? Experts are analyzing the video, its language, and its accent. It's medieval Catalan, a dialect that hasn't been spoken since the 15th century. Linguists confirm that no one could fake it without years of dedicated study. Mateo contacted Dr. Ellis Campos, a theoretical physicist at UNAM who specializes in temporal anomalies. I saw your case on the news. The ring, child. I need to talk to you. They met in a cafe. Dr. Campos was 50, but he had the look of someone who had seen things that shouldn't exist. I've been studying the theory of time for 30 years, and there's something most people don't understand. Time isn't a line, it's more like layers of transparent paper. They all exist simultaneously, but they don't usually touch. But what happens when they do? Collapses. Distortions. People trapped between the layers like insects in amber. The doctor pulled out a tablet and showed the equations. Something happened in 1347, a rare astronomical event. The alignment of 3 planets caused a massive gravitational disruption, small but significant. And if something else had happened at that moment, an experiment, an explosion, an intense electromagnetic field, people could have been trapped. Absolutely. They float between their own time and the other, seeing both but belonging to neither. Dr. Campos drinks his coffee, and the worst part is that for them, time continues as normal. They age, they feel, they suffer, but they are out of sync with reality, like a scratched record that skips but keeps playing. That night, Diego wakes up screaming. Carmen and Mateo run to his room. The boy is shaking. Vera showed me something. She showed me what she saw. What do you see, son? I see 2 worlds at once, one filled with decrepit houses and cars, the other filled with cars and buildings, and he stands in between, but he can't touch either. Diego sobs. Dad, he's so scared. He thinks he's going crazy. He's been like this for days. He doesn't know the years have passed. For him, it's only been 3 days since he left home. 3 days, Carmen whispers. For him, yes, but for the world, 677 years have passed. The silence is absolute because they are beginning to understand the true tragedy. Vera isn't just lost in time, she's doomed to experience everything without knowing why. Dr. Campos has installed monitoring equipment in Diego's room, electromagnetic sensors, and highly sensitive voice recorders. If the woman is truly communicating with her son, she must leave an energetic trace. On the first night, they record something extraordinary. At 3:25 a.m., all the sensors are triggered. The electromagnetic field fluctuates dramatically, and the voice recorders record a woman's voice, faint, distorted, but clear. Why isn't my husband coming? I told him I'd be in the square. Why is everything so strange? Why are people staring at me like I'm a ghost? Diego's voice replies, because it's been a long time, Mrs. Vera. Your husband isn't here anymore. What do you mean? He's not here. I saw him this morning. He said he'd come after Sunday. That morning was a long time ago. A sob is heard on the recording. Then silence. The sensors return to normal. Dr. Campos listens to the voice over and over. It's impossible. The voice isn't coming from anywhere. There's no physical source. The air seems to tremble with his words. What does this mean? It means he's literally between dimensions. His voice shifts because its frequency is out of sync, like two radios on almost the same frequency that sometimes connect for a moment. A reporter from the local newspaper, Sova Delgado, hears about the case. She requests an interview. In the course of the conversation, she reveals something disturbing. I've been researching. I've found other cases. People who appear in airports, train stations, hospitals, constantly confused, talking about places that no longer exist. The authorities treat them as mentally ill, medicate them, imprison them. Photographs from psychiatric archives. 5 cases from the last 10 years. A man who claims to be from East Prussia, a woman who speaks of Yugoslavia, another who swears she's from the Soviet Union. Countries that no longer exist, Mateo murmurs. Exactly. Not because they're crazy, but because they came from a time when those countries existed and they don't know they're gone. Sophia leans forward. How many people wander the world, lost in time, thinking they're sick, when in reality they're displaced? That night, Diego draws a drawing. It's Vera. But something's strange. It's drawn in 2 versions, one in black and white, the other in color, superimposed. Why did you draw her like that? Carmen asks. Because that's how she sees herself, Mommy. One part of her in her own time, the other here, and she doesn't know which is real. Diego writes in shaky letters beneath the drawing. They're both real. That's what scares her. A week later, something happens that changes everything. Vera reappears, but this time she's not at an airport. The airport is in Barcelona. A tourist films her walking down Las Ramblas, completely bewildered. The video goes viral within hours. Vera stares in horror at the modern buildings and touches parked cars with fear. When a bus passes nearby, she screams and then says something that chills the blood of millions. Where is my daughter? Where is my little Elena? She was only 6 years old. She was just playing. The police arrest her. They take her to a psychiatric hospital. The doctors examine her. She's physically healthy, but they claim she's mentally delirious. They give her a sedative and keep her under surveillance, but Diego knows the truth. That night, he tells his family, he left his daughter playing in the square. He went to buy bread for a moment. When he returned, everything had changed. The square was different, the buildings were different, and his daughter had disappeared. Lost. Where? He's stuck in 1347. Vera accidentally crossed the street and is now searching for her. He thinks his daughter is lost. He doesn't know she's lived her entire life. She's aged and died 600 years ago. Carmen puts her hands to her mouth. Oh my God. Dr. Campos does the math. Did he leave his house in 1347 and travel to 2019 because he only has a few days left? But her daughter remained in the normal state. She grew up without her mother. She probably thought her mother was dead, disappeared, or abandoned her. This is a tragedy for both of us, Mateo whispers. News of Vera's arrest breaks. Activists demand her release. Scientists want to examine her. The Spanish government doesn't know what to do. And meanwhile, Vera continues to beg for her daughter in the hospital, not understanding why no one is helping her. Diego can't sleep. I have to talk to her. I have to explain. It's the only way the pain will stop, he tells his family. How are you going to do that, son? We have to go to Barcelona. We have to see her. And I have to tell her the truth. Diego looks at his family with eyes filled with tears. Someone should have told him his daughter was okay, that she was alive, that she was happy, that she hadn't abandoned him, that she had just gotten lost along the way. But how do you know his daughter was happy? Diego smiles sadly. Because Vera showed me. She showed me the memories. Elena grew up, got married, had children, lived to be 80, and prayed every night of her life for her lost mother. They both suffered, Carmen says tearfully. Yes, but only one knows why. The Hernández family arrives in Barcelona 5 days later. Using funds from a crowdfunding campaign that raised more than $100,000 in 2 days, the case of the boy who spoke to the missing woman has captured the world's imagination. With the help of Dr. Campos and Safa Delgado, the journalist gets special permission to visit Vera at the psychiatric hospital. The conditions are controlled, recorded, and limited to 30 minutes. They enter a white, sterile room. Vera sits by the window, staring blankly at the city. She's in her 60s, gray-haired and tired. When I look at her, something changes in her eyes. "You," she says softly, "the boy who can hear me." Diego approaches. "Hello, Miss Vera." He kneels in front of her. "Do you know where my daughter is?" "Please, I haven't been able to find her for days. The police aren't helping me. They say things I don't understand. They talk about years and centuries, but it doesn't make sense. I've only been out for a moment." Diego takes her hand. Her voice is soft but firm. "Miss Vera, I need you to listen to me. I have to tell you something very important." "Have you found Elena?" "Yes." "Well," Diego takes a deep breath. "When you went out to buy bread, something happened, something no one could see. A door in time opened, and without realizing it, you crossed the street. You went many, many years into the future." Vera shakes her head. "No, that's impossible. It was only this morning. It was this morning for you, but for the world, 677 years have passed." There is utter silence. Vera looks at Diego, then at the adults, then at the window, at the cars, the modern buildings, the way people are dressed. Her face slowly wrinkles. "No, no, no, no. Your daughter stayed in her time. She grew up. She had a good life. She married a carpenter named Joan. They had 4 children. She lived to be 80. She was happy, Miss Vera. She had a good life." "How? How do you know that?" "Because you showed me. Her memories are in between her time and this time, and I can see them because I'm still a child, because my mind hasn't yet learned to block them out. Her whole life, she believed you were special, chosen for something greater." Diego knelt beside her and never stopped loving her. Never. Vera's tears continue. She was long dead, but she lived well and was waiting for him on the other side. News of the conversation leaked out. The hospital's video shows it all. A 4-year-old boy tells a woman lost in time that her daughter died 600 years ago. Heartbreaking, impossible, real. The world reacts. Scientists, theologians, skeptics, believers, everyone has an opinion. But one thing is clear, something unexplainable is happening. Dr. Campos is working with an international team of physicists. They're developing a theory. The time collapse of 1347 wasn't unique. It was the first. And ever since, occasionally, when astronomical conditions align, the layers rub back together. People get stuck. Some move forward, others backward. Backward? Mateo asks. Absolutely. There might be people lost in the past, living in the Middle Ages, who don't know how to get back, or even worse, who don't know they don't belong. The idea is frightening. How many people throughout history have been considered madmen, witches, prophets, when they were actually accidental time travelers? Vera remains in the hospital, but now the doctors don't give her medication, but instead listen to her. They show her photographs of Barcelona in 1347. She recognizes everything. She describes places with perfect precision. Streets that no longer exist, buildings destroyed centuries ago. Medieval historian Professor Martin Aguirre confirms every detail. He's not making it up. Torenza describes her neighborhood as it is, what we can only learn from vague documents not even translated into modern Spanish. Diego visits Vera every day during his stay in Barcelona. They talk. Vera tells him about her life, her husband, Per, a fabric merchant, her daughter, Elena, who loves flowers, their small house near the square. "Can I go back?" Vera asks one day. Is there a way to go back? Dr. Campos sadly refuses. The collapse is timed. The window has closed, and even if she could go back, her world is gone. Everything she knew has been destroyed centuries ago. So I'm alone, utterly alone in a world where no one knows me, where my family has been dead for generations. Diego takes her hand. Not alone. I'm here, and there are more. There are more people like you than those lost, confused, who think they're going crazy. I can find them, help them understand, so they don't suffer as much as you do. Vera looks at the child in surprise. You do this for strangers? You're not a stranger, you're my friend. And if there are more friends lost in time, I will find them all. That night, Dr. Campos does some statistical calculations. If time collapses occur approximately every 70 years, and only 0.1% to 1% of the people in the affected area are stranded, there could be hundreds of people lost in the world without even knowing what they are. 2 months after their encounter with Vera, something extraordinary happens. People around the world begin reporting similar cases. A man from Tokyo who claims to be from Edo in the 1850s. A woman who speaks medieval English and lives in London, searching for London Bridge, which has been destroyed and rebuilt 3 times since her time. Diego has become a phenomenon. The international media calls him the Bridge Boy. His ability to communicate with temporarily displaced people is unique. Scientists can't explain it, but it works. The Hernández family has established a foundation called Voices Between Times. Its goal is to identify, help, and honor people lost in time collapses. They receive funding from governments, universities, and private donors. Diego and his family travel to different countries. He meets others, like Vera, a Roman soldier who appeared in Italy in 1987, a Victorian girl in New York in 2003, and a confused samurai in San Francisco in 2015. They all share the same story, an ordinary moment, a step, and suddenly everything changes. But they don't realize it right away. They think they're sick, hallucinating, going mad. The worst part isn't getting lost, the samurai tells Diego. The worst part is that no one believes you. They treat you like you're crazy. They throw you in jail, and you start to doubt yourself, to think maybe you really are, that everything you remember is a dream. Diego documents each case. Dr. Campos and his team are finding patterns. They occur in areas of high geomagnetic activity during collapses, eclipses, solar storms, and rare planetary alignments. At a press conference, Campos explains that it's like cracks in the universe. And when the conditions are just right, those cracks open just for a moment. But that's enough for someone in the wrong place at the wrong time to slip through. Vera becomes a spokesperson for the movement, giving interviews, telling her story, and slowly beginning to recover. She can't go back to her own time, but she has found a purpose, helping others like her. Diego gave me something no one else could, she says in an interview with the BBC. He gave me the truth, and the truth, even though it hurts, is better than madness. Now I know I'm not mad. I know what happened to me. Even though I've lost everything, at least I know why. A year after first contact, the Foundation has identified 47 confirmed cases in 22 countries. 47 people finally realized they weren't crazy, just lost. Diego Hernández, now a 5-year-old boy, is their guide, bringing them some kind of peace. But the real story is yet to come. November 2025. Exactly a year after Diego met Vera, Dr. Campos, reviewing the data from all the documented cases, makes an alarming discovery. The frequency of collapses is increasing, he announces in an emergency meeting. For the last 100 years, we've recorded about 1 case every 70, but in the last 20 years, we've had 12, and in the last year, 5. What does that mean? Mateo asks. It means something is changing. The layers of time are becoming more unstable. The cracks are lasting longer and opening more frequently. Why is the doctor pointing to these complex graphs? Abnormal solar activity, changes in the Earth's magnetic field, suspicion, and something else, something I can't measure, but Diego keeps telling me about. What is it? He says he feels a pressure, as if something is pushing on the other side, deliberately trying to open the cracks. Everyone falls silent. The idea is terrifying. What if something, is manipulating time and it's collapsing? That night, Diego has a vision more intense than ever. He wakes up screaming. He's shaking violently when his family arrives. I saw something big. Not just missing people. There's something else, trying to break through. What, son? I don't know, but it's old, very old, and it's waiting for the cracks to grow large enough. The next day, strange reports begin to come in. In the places where the time collapses have occurred, people see anomalies, silhouettes that move on their own, objects appearing and disappearing, voices from bygone eras, horseshoes, ancient voices, music that shouldn't exist. Vera urgently contacts Diego. Something's wrong. I can feel it. The crack I went through is reopening. I can see my time more clearly now. It's like the layers are merging. Dr. Campos confirms the worst. A major planetary alignment is scheduled for October 31, 2025. A triple solar eclipse. A Category X solar storm. A perfect convergence. If my calculations are correct, all the world's temporal rifts will open simultaneously for the first time in 1,000 years. What will happen? I don't know, but it could be catastrophic. People from different eras will cross paths. Past and present will overlap. Realities will collide. Diego looks after his family. I must go to Torenza, Barcelona, where it all began. There's something there, something that can close the cracks. Vera knows it. She senses it. What is its origin? Ground zero, where the first collapse occurred. If we can get there, we can stop what's coming. You have 10 days. You have 10 days to prevent time itself from unraveling. November 31, 2025, Barcelona. The international team gathers in the excavated ruins beneath the Basilica of Santa Maria del Mar, the site of Torenza, where it all began in 1347. Diego is there, Vera is there, Dr. Campos and his team, Carmen and Mateo, 50 scientists, and cameras from around the world are broadcasting live. It starts at 11:25 p.m. During a triple eclipse, the sky darkens completely. The earth trembles slightly and then cracks open. They are not invisible. This time they are visible, actual tears in the air. Other times can be seen through them. Medieval streets, cars, people in period clothing gaze upon the present with the same astonishment that modern people gaze upon the past. It's happening! Dr. Campos shouts. The layers are colliding. Diego walks toward the center of the ruins. There is an ancient stone there, bearing symbols that no one can translate. Vera walks with it. This stone was in my town square. I remember my parents telling me never to touch it, that it was sacred, that it protected the village. Diego puts his hand on the stone, closes his eyes, and then he realizes this is no ordinary stone. It is an anchor. He pushes the layers apart, but in 1347, something damaged it, lightning, an earthquake. And the layers have touched each other for the first time. That is why Torenza disappeared. That is why Vera is trapped. What are we going to do? Mateo asks. I need to fix it, but I can't do it alone. Diego looks at Vera. I need someone between the layers, someone who can touch both sides. Vera understands immediately. I'm gonna die, aren't I, Diego? She says, her eyes filling with tears. It's your energy that can close the cracks, because you are part of both times. You are the bridge, and bridges sometimes have to close to keep both sides safe. Vera smiles. It's okay. I've lived longer than I should have. 677 years more than I have. Time to rest. She places her hands on the stone next to Diego. The energy flows, and the cracks begin to close slowly, painfully. Vera begins to disappear as if made of smoke. Tell the others who are lost, that they are not alone, that they are brave, that they survive. I will tell them, I promise. And Diego, thank you for giving me the truth, for not letting me die thinking I was crazy. One last flash of light. The cracks close completely. Vera disappears. The stone glows for a moment and then fades. Absolute silence. The eclipse ends. The moon releases the sun. Light returns. Subsequent analysis confirms that the temporal anomalies have disappeared. The cracks close. Time flows normally again, but Diego knows something no one else knows. At the last moment, before disappearing, Vera saw something and showed it to him. She saw her daughter, Elena, waiting for her on the other side, arms outstretched, smiling. And finally, after 677 years of loss, Vera found her way home. 2 years later, Diego is 7 years old. The Voices Between Times Foundation is now international. They have helped over 200 temporarily displaced people find peace, understanding, and dignity. Diego can no longer speak to lost souls as he once did. His mind grows, obstacles form, but he trains other children, special children who can still see through the layers. One day, while sorting through Vera's files, he finds something. A letter written in medieval Catalan and translated by Professor Aguirre reads, "To whoever finds this, my name is Elena, daughter of Vera de Torenza. My mother disappeared when I was 6. She was never found again. But I knew in my heart that she had something special for her, that she had not abandoned me, that something higher was calling her. I lived a good life, got married, had children, grew old surrounded by love, and prayed for her every night. If anyone finds this letter and, by some miracle, finds my mother, let her know that I forgive her, that I understand, and that I will wait for her with eternal love on the other side." Elena 1402. Diego cries as he reads, because he is certain. Vera had received this message. In the last moment of her life, she knew that her daughter loved her, forgave her, and was waiting for her. And that was enough.